Are you considering investing in a university degree for graphic design? Studying full-time can be a huge commitment in time and money. Is it worth it? Is university right for you? Or can you learn on your own? And how does that work? Where do you start? What other options are there to learn graphic design? And will you be guaranteed a job if you take that full commitment and study for a graphic design degree at university? Hi, my name's Kate Aveling and I'm a graphic designer with over 20 years experience. I do have a design degree and I'm here to share my experiences with you. I'm going to help you work through the pros and cons of studying graphic design at university or studying for a creative career at university. We're going to talk about some other options to study and just talk about some different career pathways that could be alternatives if you're wondering if the university path is for you. Stay to the end and hear me bust some myths about graphic design jobs. Firstly, let's unpack, why do you want to be a designer? Is it your calling? Have you been pushed towards design all your life? Is it something that you've always wanted to do? Have you just finished school and you're looking towards a creative career and it just seems like the next logical step? Have you seen other designers on social media and you thought, wow, that looks like a great job, I'd love to do that, they look like they're having the best time? Are you just after a career change? Maybe you've been working in a 9 to 5 doing something you don't like and you've had enough and you're ready to follow your dreams and do something creative. Or maybe you're just thinking about starting a side hustle and you feel like graphic design or learning some design skills is going to help you on your path with your side hustle. Maybe you're looking to go towards something really specific, like you want to be an illustrator or an animator or a logo designer, and you just want to follow that path to a specific job. Next, let's look at why you think university might be for you. Now, I'm just going to backtrack 20 years to when I was finished school and I was deciding what I was going to do with my career. And I'm trying to put myself back in those shoes of why I decided to go to university. And the truth is, it could have been a coin flip. I was one of those people that was kind of good at lots of things, but I didn't really have my solid path towards what I knew I wanted to do. I was a little bit lost. I enjoyed music, I enjoyed fine arts and painting, I enjoyed photography and video editing at school, and I thought, I've got to do something in the creative industry, but I just didn't know what. When I finished school, I got a few options that sort of landed in my lap. I got accepted to the Queensland College of Art. I also got accepted into the Conservatorium of Music, and I got accepted to University of the Sunshine Coast in Queensland for a Bachelor of Design. Now, my young, immature brain I didn't really have all the information in front of me, and I think I was looking at it through rose-coloured glasses to a certain extent. My reasoning behind not following music was because music was like a 6-year degree, and at the end of it there was no guaranteed job. I really loved fine art and I wanted to do Queensland College of Art, which was more fine arts at that stage, but then I also thought, what happens if I spend 3 years studying and then I come out of it and I'm not going to get a job? I thought studying a Bachelor of Design was going to land me in good stead, and that with a degree I'd be able to walk out of uni and I'd have people throwing jobs at me and I'd be able to step right into a full-time design career in an agency or somewhere prolific. So that's what I was thinking, and I also had a boyfriend at the time who was at university on the Sunshine Coast, and so I'm sure a big part of my reasoning was following him to where he was, which is silly. So don't do that. Don't do what boys do. You just follow your dreams, not somebody else's dreams. But that's how I ended up at university. What are some reasons why you think uni is for you? Are you not sure where to start with a creative career and you feel like university is going to give you lots of options, it's going to push you towards a certain career path? Sometimes you don't know where you're going to go until you start walking. And it's the same thing with study, especially if you're a little bit creative. You start down one path and you really enjoy part of that path but not the other path, and that really shows you where you want to push things in the future. So creative study is a little bit like that. Are you looking for community? Are you looking to study with other people next to you so that you're not doing it alone? Maybe your family and friends have pressured you into university. Have your parents always told you that, university is the way to go, and maybe they've been saving for you to go to university, and maybe you feel that pressure that all my friends are going to university and I should go too. Maybe have a think about, are your reasons for going somebody else's reasons, or are they your own reasons? You might be thinking that, like me, that doing a university degree is a safe career path, that by the end of it you'll be guaranteed a job. You might already be working in the industry, you might already be working in creative industry, you might feel like you're missing out on jobs because the jobs you're going for are asking designers to have a bachelor or a master's in arts or the creative industry. So those are just some reasons why people might want to go to university. Do any of those ring a bell with you? Now, let's look at the pros and the cons of a university degree. Firstly, the pros. Community. Working next to other people can really help you with your struggles when it's easy to tap someone on the shoulder and ask for help. Also at university, you've got lecturers and teachers at your disposal. They have contact hours where you can speak to them personally, you can ask for advice, they can critique your work. All of these things are really valuable in helping shape your education. When I was at university, I didn't even have a computer, so the university that I went to had computers on site. So for students that didn't have those things at home, you could come to campus and use the equipment. So that was a big positive for university, and I'm sure it's very similar now, that people that are disadvantaged without the right tech, apps or machinery can access those things at a place of study. Structure. University degrees are structured. There is a plan, there is a format. There'll be contact hours, there'll be things that you can do at home, and there will be lectures that you have to attend to. With a full-time degree, there'll be 4 subjects a semester, 2 semesters a year, and 3 years for the degree. So the way that the curriculum is split up is that you'll have, in those 4 subjects, you might only have 2 that are design subjects, and the other 2 might be more broad arts subjects. So it feels like sometimes at university you might be doing really well with those design classes, and then sometimes there's other classes you think, gosh, is this really relevant to my career at the end? And also you get some critical thinking skills and feedback. Okay, now let's talk about the cons for a university degree. The first big one is money. Now this probably changes across the world, no doubt, but my experience with my local university, it wasn't super cheap, and I've just looked up the prices in 2025 and what the rough average is, and it's about $10,000 a year for a Bachelor of Arts degree, and that's 3 years, so that's $30,000. Like, that's a huge cost. And back in the old days, when I was at uni, we also had textbooks we had to buy. We had to buy hard discs, like we had zip discs, like all those things were a bit of a financial burden for someone that was studying full time and living on their own. And then also there's a time cost with university. Sometimes there's rigid timetables where you're expected to have contact hours. You have certain times of the year where you have to have your assessments in by, lectures, classes, and you need to work your life around that time. Another con is that sometimes you waste time on subjects just to get that piece of paper at the end. Like some of the subjects just sometimes feel a bit like filler subjects. I did a minor in marketing, so I did one class a semester in marketing, which was great. There's some principles of marketing that just haven't changed, but obviously a lot of that's out of date now. But yeah, there was some, gender studies, and you had to pick one sort of broad arts subject. And at the time, I was like, I don't see how this is relevant. Looking back on that in hindsight, it's taught me to get things done on time. It's taught me to work in groups and work in teams to get projects over the line, and to work to deadlines, and and to be able to copyright and some of those kinds of things. So, I mean, in hindsight, some of it is relevant, but at the time it really felt like, I'm making this huge sacrifice in my time to be here, and is it really relevant? It was really hard to concentrate in some of those classes and get through when it wasn't an exact path to my final career. When I left my graphic design degree, I didn't have any real job experience. When I first entered the workforce and worked with a small print company, I didn't even know how to export a file properly for print. I knew how to create a cohesive design. I knew how to make things look good, but I had no idea of final output processes, how to get my artwork from the machine into real life. So I really felt like there was a lot of on-the-job experience that I still had to get. And so it wasn't like you leave a university degree and you're ready to go. There was still a lot of work to be done after that degree. Back when I studied, there was no internship program in my university, but I do know that that has changed because I've actually taken on an intern from my local university a few years ago, and that worked out really well for her. Let's talk about some alternatives to a university degree. In Queensland, Australia, we have a few really great colleges that offer design modules. That's Billy Blue College, Shillington College, and the TAFE programs. Now, they all offer certificates in specific areas, so you might go and study just for a short period of time to get one certificate. It might be just like a semester program. Some of these classes are flexible, so they can be night classes or day classes, which can be worked around other work commitments that you have. And there can be specific modules, so you can just work on the modules of interest that affect you, or you can work your certificates towards like a graded diploma at the end. So it just depends on what you want to get out of it, but there's a lot more flexibility in the options of what you can study. And in my experience, those kinds of courses have been really hands-on. The students that have been to those colleges, they're spending all of their time in the day in front of the computer, learning the apps, learning how to create a project, getting projects from start to finish. Really, really handy, helpful stuff. Whereas sometimes at university, you might be learning more conceptual things rather than actual hands-on things that are going to help you in a design job. Another thing to note about some of these colleges is I do know for a fact, after speaking with people that work in agencies and people that hire in advertising agencies, have really favoured graduates from certain colleges, and some of those agencies would actually hunt and speak with the educators in these colleges to find out who the talent was, and they would watch them, and when they finished their courses, those were the students that got offered some really terrific jobs. Okay, another alternative to studying at university would be to undertake online courses from content creators. Now, this space is growing, and it feels like almost anyone who's online creating content is starting a digital course. So you need to be super careful with who you follow. Consider what you want to learn. If someone's teaching something specific you want to learn, by all means follow that rabbit hole and undertake that study. But if you start doing many different separate content creators courses, you might be educating yourself in very specific areas, but the cost might really add up over time, and you might have been better off going to a more formal education at university or college anyway. Do your research with these content creators courses. They are not all created equal, and if possible, speak to people that have done the courses. Ask for references from these content creators of people that have gone through their course, so you can really drill down from them what they learned, whether it was worth it, and what sort of industry experience they've had after finishing that course. And finally, the other alternative to a university education is to completely do it on your own. There is paid courses online on Skillshare and Domestika. There's probably quite a few others. Those are the ones that come to mind as being the really big ones. Skillshare, for example, is a subscription, and there are some amazing educators. Some of the college and university educators are also on there and have their own separate classes. It's a really great format to go deep dive into areas of areas to follow your interests. So if you're deciding against university and that you want to study on your own, have a look at Skillshare, have a look at Domestica, and also you've got YouTube, which is free. Now, the upside of YouTube is there's so much free knowledge on there, and there's a lot of really valuable how-to videos. But the downside to doing a YouTube education is that there is so many different ways you could go, and there's so much knowledge, and there's so many people specializing in all these different areas. It gets a little bit overwhelming with what should you be studying if you really want to follow your career in graphic design. Hey, if you're finding this useful, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to share more graphic design tips and tricks, and talk a little bit about business and client work as well. So like and subscribe. I hope to see you in another video. Now, back to the content. I will be job ready when I finish my degree. Well, I've met quite a lot of designers that have finished graphic design degrees, and some of them have no idea how to output files for print or what color format they should be using in different scenarios. A lot of the nitty-gritty on-the-job experience has to be learnt on the job, and I certainly wasn't job ready when I finished my degree. I thought I was until I got a real job, and then I realised how much that I didn't know. Graphic design is a secured job. The design industry is changing more and more, and did you know that 90% of designers are freelance, not full-time? So the likelihood of walking out of a degree and having a straight path to a job is actually quite low, and the competition for those full-time jobs is actually very high. The benefit of having a full-time job obviously is paid holidays and medical benefits and all of those things, whereas freelance designers have to pay their own tax, do their own super, manage their own business stuff, generate their own client leads, or it might be freelancing or contracting to other agencies. There's a lot of design agencies now that don't even hire designers full-time. They will hire separate graphic design contractors and freelancers and bring in the professionals in certain niche areas that they need to get their projects across the line. So graphic design, unfortunately, is not a secure job, but if you're good at what you do and you have great networks and you have a wonderful reputation, the work will come to you. So the better you are, the more secure your job is, if that makes sense. I think we just busted that myth earlier. When I finished my design degree, I had a really hard time getting a full-time job. In fact, I didn't get a full-time job in design. I ended up going freelance straight away, really. That's a story for another day, how that career path went, but you can come out of a graphic design degree and there is not a gold plate with a job there waiting for you at the end of it. You still have to create a portfolio. You still have to demonstrate to people that you can do that job. Those full-time design jobs, they're not guaranteed. Nothing is a guarantee. Nothing is a guarantee in this life, not even a job after a degree, unfortunately. Jobs that I've interviewed for and applied for over the years, guess how many of them have actually asked to see my bachelor qualification? That's right, 0. What employers want to see is a portfolio. They want to see that you can take work from a client's brief and fulfill it and have some creative outcome. They want to see that you can do the job. So at the end of the day, it's absolutely not necessary for a job. It might be just a way of filtering out employees, future employees in the job seeker process. If they put bachelor on there, sometimes they just cut people out that don't have that bachelor, just so that they can quickly weed out their top candidates. That's the only, maybe if you're in the job seeker industry and maybe you can fill us in and whether that's important to you or not. But in my experience, there's been very, very few jobs that will actually look for a bachelor or ask to see your degree in the first place. Okay, I'm going to give you my hot tips for your next step. If you can't afford to go to university, don't go into massive debt for a university degree. You might be paying that debt off for the rest of your life. Consider your personality and your learning style to help you decide what sort of study is right for you. To better your chances of a creative career, start working on real life projects now. Sometimes when you start working on a project, you'll realise what it is that you don't know, and that will give you the hint into where you need to study to find that next step to complete your project. This is especially useful if you're self-learning and you're managing your own education through YouTube videos and content creators. Why don't you start up a project for a fake company, or ask one of your friends or family members if you can work on a project for their business. Once you start working on those things, like if you're starting someone's logo design and you don't know where to start, then you can start a logo design class or course or YouTube video. If you're learning how to output a business card for print, start researching those things on YouTube. A lot of jobs that I took on as an early freelancer, people said, "Hey Kate, can you do this?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." And then I'd come after and go, "I've never done that before in my life." But then you can start learning yourself by looking at videos, reading books, figuring it out, and then executing it. Design careers are not a straight line. Follow your passion and that will take you to where you need to go. Start building your portfolio straight away. Most employers or clients will find that more valuable than a piece of paper that you might get from a tertiary education. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if this was valuable for you. Please feel free to leave me a comment and let me know if you're going to university, if you've been to university, or if you're going to avoid university. I'd love to know if this video helped you and which way you decided to go. Thanks for watching.